No seed ever planted has grown into a tree without the right amount of love and affection. You plant a seed, and with love, you plant and nurture many, and soon enough, you will find yourself between a forest. But none of the forests made with love have survived the fires of pride. No home has ever survived through the storm of hubris. This is a story of a woman and her enormous ego, and how her very ego led to the mass murder of her family. This is the story of Niobe, the woman with 14 children. Born to the king of Phrygia, Tantalus, Niobe was a mortal woman who lived an ordinary mortal life up until she fell in love. She fell in love with a musician and singer named Amphion and married him. Together, they became the bearers of 14 children, 7 sons and 7 daughters. Some were jealous, the rest admired Niobe for birthing such a vast progeny. In earlier times, a woman with many children was admired. A mother is no less than a god. A mother becomes a part of nature, for she preserves and creates life. For she takes in hand the dying petals falling from a tree and turns them into seeds, creating life. A mother sews the flesh, the might, and the heart with her golden thread and needle. She gives a structure to this life. And Niobe, having given life to 14 children, understood this better than anyone else. But again, none of the forests made with love have survived the flames of pride. Niobe bore 14 children and 1 demon, the one of hubris. All the admiration and appreciation got to her head, and she became prideful of her children. Back in those days, it was rare for women to have this many children, and Niobe, an exception, let her blessing soon turn into a curse. She roamed around Greece, praising herself, singing the song of her own glory. She considered herself worthy to be seated at the same table as the gods. Soon, she paid for her pride. In Thebes, an annual ceremony was held in the honor of the goddess Leto and her 2 offsprings, Apollo and Artemis. This ceremony was held to honor the goddess and her 2 twins, who were immeasurably powerful and still to this day remain very influential figures in Greek mythology. Apollo, the god of archery, and Artemis, the goddess of childbirth, were 2 divine forces that drove the faith of numerous believers. People prayed to Apollo for safety and security, and to Artemis for a healthy continuation of their generations. Niobe, upon hearing of this ceremony, felt disrespected, as she was not celebrated for having 14 offsprings, but the goddess Leto was for only bearing 2. Niobe immediately got dressed in the most lavish jewels and the most beautiful silk dress and made her way to Thebes. Upon reaching Thebes, Niobe began her rant, and not even the gods were spared. She said, "What is this? You all praise the beings you have never seen instead of the ones who stand before you. Why should Leto be honored with worship and not me? My father is the king of Phrygia, and my husband helped build this city of Thebes. I am no less than a goddess. Why should I not be praised? And above all this, let me remind you all that I have 14 children, 7 sons, and 7 daughters, as compared to Leto's only 2. I am 7 times more fortunate than the goddess Leto. Why must you all praise her and not me? And which forests have survived the flames of pride? Perhaps some, definitely none." Niobe's cries for validation angered Leto, and she ordered her children to steal from Niobe what she loved most. Both Apollo and Artemis, on the command of their mother, flew down to earth from the clouds to murder Niobe's children. Apollo shot his arrows into the hearts of Niobe's sons, and Artemis killed all of Niobe's daughters. 7 sons, 7 daughters, all massacred. The blood that spilled painted a picture where the one that created life was responsible for killing it. Niobe begged the divine twins to show her mercy, but her cries were to no avail. There lied her children, her most prized possessions, lifeless and worthless. The bodies of her children was left unburied for 9 days, as Niobe abstained herself from consuming anything. Out of the shock and pain of losing his children, her husband Amphion took his life. The best joy is in preserving life. The worst pain is in ending it. Out of anguish and despair, Niobe ran to Mount Sipylus, where the nymphs lived. After losing her entire family in just a matter of seconds, Niobe wept for months. She pled to the gods day and night to end her suffering. Eventually, Zeus heard her pleas and felt bad for her, so he turned Niobe to stone so that she would feel no more, so that her emotions would too turn to stone. However, her grief was too much, and even Zeus's blessing was to no avail. Despite turning to stone, Niobe still felt all the pain and despair, only this time it got even worse as she wasn't able to move. Niobe's statue is a testament to a mother's eternal mourning. She kept crying despite turning to stone, and the tears rained from her eyes as she couldn't move. According to some versions of the myth, Niobe to this day is still mourning for her children. There's a rock at Mount Sipylus, which resembles a female face, and it has been associated with the myth of a mourning mother. Niobe's tale serves as a reminder of how hubris is lethal, and how unchecked ego could take away your most prized possessions, how it could ruin your relationships and leave you devastated for a very long time.